Okay. Okay, hi guys. Celina here back on Ricky's Pod with episode 4.
Episode 1, I'm sorry. Celina gets mixed up sometimes since, she got the first part. But yeah, moving on with the episode.
Today I have Andre with me. Andre, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, my name is Andre Lupembe. I am 16. I stay in Dar too, and yeah, I'm gonna be a guest today on Ricky's pod.
Okay. So today we wanted to talk about Pan-Africanism. We feel like it's an important subject to talk about because the current world we're living in, I feel like niggas really need to come back to Africa, bro. Like, look at the state black people are in, especially in the US. Um, Basically, what we're going to talk about today, I hope it will be able to change a lot of people's minds and give them insight on what exactly Pan Africanism is. So, Andre, do you think you could tell us a bit about Pan Africanism?
So by the book, Ism is essentially just a movement that because all people of African descent have similar interests, they should therefore be united. Not too political though, like it's just like cultural and other stuff. So that's basically it.
Okay. So, could you tell us about how it came about, like the whole movement and whatnot? Like, why do people talk about it today and why does it exist?
For my guys, Malcolm X, that nigga was hard on punishing those white bastards who put us in chains. So before I get too political, if you don't know Malcolm X, he was an American Muslim civil rights activist who was assassinated for his beliefs. So if you want to call him a martyr, you can, but that guy was a real G. So essentially, Pan Africanism didn't start in Africa. It started in the abroad in those countries where the African diaspora was spread because of like that feeling of unity which they needed to stay together. And yeah, so it started. It's believed to have started in the '60s with Malcolm X and those guys, and even some white people who studied it. I don't know why, but anyways. And then in Africa here at the same time in the '60s, people like Julius Nyerere, Kwame Nkrumah, Thomas Sankara, Nelson Mandela, King Shobzu. I'm sorry if I butchered his name, but King Shobzu II. Those guys were the ones who pioneered. Oh yeah, and Gaddafi. Never forget Gaddafi. Those guys pioneered Pan Africanism here in Africa because they wanted. They weren't about like putting black people on top of everyone else, but rather everyone should be equal, and then that like the Africans should now unite, which is how they brought up this thing called the Organization of African Unity, which is today's African Union. So they were like the founding fathers of Pan Africanism.
Okay. So, would you say that do you think Pan Africanism would exist today if it wasn't for enslavement and colonialism?
Nah, like we have to remember that because those niggas locked us up in chains back in the 1600s and treated us like dogs while we're the ones who civilized them, is because 200 years later we felt the need to now, like, I don't know, but like, if you get me, it's like take our place back, like our excellence back, which they stole. So that slave trade, which sent 12.5 million people to the Americas, and how they stole our minerals in the 1800s with the Berlin Conference, like all of that contributed to the starting of Pan-Africanism.
And do you think Pan Africanism could actually work, joining Africa as a whole nation instead of separating people and like other cultures into their own countries and whatnot? Do you think it could work?
Well, if we're being optimistic, it can. But the last person who suggested that was killed by the CIA and all these Western organizations like NATO. Yeah, NATO, the CIA, the US. So if you guys don't know about Gaddafi, he had suggested backing an African currency, an African dinar by gold, and he wanted the support of the fellow founding fathers of the African Union. But then they found a reason to gun him down. So it is possible. It is possible, but it's crazy because you see these Westerners have generational pride that they carry over, and
Mm-hmm.
for them to let go of that shit, it's either they kill you before you shoot them down and stop them from exporting our minerals, stealing everything. You get like they still
Yeah,
benefit. If Gaddafi backed up African dinar by gold, we would be the most powerful nation in the world.
I agree with that as well. I agree with that as well. So do you think that like Western like countries, or even third world countries as a whole, do you believe that they would be like nothing without us, like without Black people?
Well, some countries would be nothing without us. Like obviously the Americas, so everyone in North America who we built their countries on. I mean, we built their countries. Europeans still continue to feed the industries with our minerals, otherwise they'd be broke and like empty. Otherwise, civilizations like the subcontinent of India, China, those guys would still survive because I mean they were also exploited like us. So like
Okay, yeah. Also, what about what do you think people from African countries, especially people who live in Africa, what do you think they'll think about this whole idea? Because some people still want to live in Western countries and third world countries and whatnot. So, what do you think they'll think about this idea?
so the first thing I've realized um, I mentioned Pan-Africanism is people think it's too political, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, if you look at the cultural side, it's about celebrating our music, our language, our food, everything that makes us Africans, yeah. So if people can really connect to that aspect instead of going to the political side, then it's still you can still consider yourself a Pan-Africanist and really drive this movement wherever you are.
Okay, okay, good. That's good. Yeah, I personally term myself as a Pan Africanist because I feel like colonialism in itself has really affected our African culture here because I remember even having conversations with people, like Africa has become a bit, westernized, like Kidogo, because if you look at like some South African cultures or even our own culture here in Tanzania, if you look at tribal cultures, the way they used to wear clothes, like back in the day, they wouldn't even wear clothes, like they'd wear like waist beads, anklets, like they would go out, shirtless, boobs out, everything, and people wouldn't sexualize it, you know. But then ever since like we became westernized, and even looking through religion, having anklets on, basically like wearing the clothes that they used to wear, it's all being like sexualized. And I feel like at the end of the day, if it wasn't for colonialism, if it wasn't for them coming and telling us, oh, you're supposed to dress a certain way and supposed to act a certain way, because even the way you act isn't proper. And it has come to a point where it has even affected our schools as a whole, because the school that I used to go to, um they wouldn't allow like us wearing African hairstyles, yini, because they said that they were dirty. Like even dreads in itself, they would say like it was dirty, and it wasn't like following the school rules. Like, my guy, we go to a school in an African country. If you look in the past, people used to wear these, and how can you come and tell me right now that it's not school like that? My hairstyle is dirty, that is this and that. It's because they become, the white man has brainwashed them. That's just on that. And it's like, I feel like with Pan-Africanism we can really bring back our culture and really like celebrate as a whole, and really like indulge ourselves in it and then just bring back our roots, because our culture as a whole, it's beautiful. I mean, not to say anything, but like white culture is a bit, they don't even have culture. Like it's a bit spiceless. There's no spice, there's nothing, you know? And if you look at our cultures, like in every country, every African country, they have their own traditions, their own cultures, and it's so beautiful. It is honestly so beautiful. And if you look into those cultures, you could be amazed. And I feel like Pan-Africanism in itself would really, really help us as Africans, connect and like just fall in love with ourselves again. Because at the end of the day, if you think about it, colonialism really has brought a sense of self-hate towards ourselves, like obviously towards ourselves and towards our own culture, because sometimes people don't even want to accept the fact, that they're African. People always lean towards traveling to third world countries and whatnot because they feel like there is a better place, there is, well, I'll be able to make it. But instead of thinking about, going there and then getting that knowledge and bringing it back so they can help, their country. Not saying that they're obligated to do that, but like it's come to a point where they feel like they need to stay there if they want to be big, instead of wanting to come back and like bring the education back and just help their fellow niggers out. And it's like it's quite sad, honestly. But honestly, I feel like after this whole thing, especially with what's happening in the US, I personally feel like people will be leaning towards coming back to Africa. Cause like we're gonna welcome them with open arms, to be honest. I personally feel that. Because I feel like it has become like some sort of breaking point right now. And yeah, man, like it's really like all I have to say. But I'd like to hear like your opinions and whatnot, especially with what's currently going on in the world right now. Like, what do you think?
Okay, I want to start with colonialization, but yeah, how like what you said about colonization.
It's the white man's language. It's okay. It's okay.
So what I noticed is the white man just likes stability. Because if you see how they, like, I don't know if it's spread, but how they wanted to control the entire world, they just wanted one system of doing it. Otherwise, if they didn't, they would have the bland cultures, yeah, up there. Us and the Indians and the Chinese niggas would be so diverse and like our cultures would be so deep that we just divisions, yeah. They couldn't have that. They had to have some kind of centralization and like one like system. Like we all go to school, we all go to like three different school. Like you start the nursery, primary, you go to uni, whatever. They wanted us to go work a 9 to 5, and then you retire. Like they wanted that kind of progression, yeah. But if they never touched any of our cultures, bro, we have kingdoms all across Africa, yeah. We
Like
didn't even care.
Wakanda type shit.
Like I think we need to suppress culture because we've seen quotes of people saying that when they first visited Africa, they found the civilization so civilized that just going there and trying to go head on with them was gonna be hard. So they had to break them from the core, which is stealing their culture, education, things that create sustainability. Yeah, and some of those explorers admit that. Yeah, so that's just one thing I noticed about the white man, and then the urge for control and stability.
Mm.
And the next is if those guys in the US came back today, like I feel like we have to look at it both sides because as much as our generation will welcome them back, yeah, these old guys in government will just be like Rudy, because some like they won't be able to adjust to life here. Like they would
True.
at the start, but if you look at the reasons why they left, freedom of speech is oppressed here. You say something, you're gone missing.
Mm.
Yeah. Opportunities, as much as we don't like to admit, they're obviously better there.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've seen that And if they came back, it would be so hard for them to adjust that they just decide, okay, like they look at all the problems first, like the money to come back,
Mhm.
then adjusting to life here, um, adjusting to all the like the laws we've set for ourselves.
Mhm.
All those things are the first things we think about, and not actually coming back to connect with the culture. That's what I've seen on Black Twitter and Black Instagram. And then the third thing was, what do I think about what's going on in the States? Hey, I think a major world revolution is happening. Like, as much as some people are complacent, this shit's moving. Once those Democrats propose bills and then these cases are being reopened, the FBI is looking to people. As soon as Trump goes out of presidency, he's going to be charged with rape and child trafficking. The world is changing. Revolutions are coming. And that's how I think 2020 will close. Like,
Yeah.
as like right now, you know the saying, it says, if you're going through hell, keep on going, yeah?
Yeah.
Something like that. Like, we're going through hell. But then with all the changes I'm seeing happening, as much as people are like, bro, posting on your Instagram, what's that gonna do? If you go protest, what's that gonna do? Things are happening.
Things are exactly like I agree with everything that you're saying, to be honest. Like I don't think I can add on because I believe so too. Because even in the past, how long has it been? Like a week, maybe 2 weeks or so. A lot has been happening. Like I remember even like seeing a thread. I don't remember like what I read, but I know that a lot of things have been happening. And even those people that say, oh, even people from here saying that, oh, you're in Tanzania and then you want to talk about what's going on, in the US and whatnot. Still, these people, I would say, like, they're our brothers and sisters, okay? It's good to talk about these things. It's good to raise awareness because it's even good, to sign petitions because you don't even know that one sign could make a difference. Even signing petitions themselves, it's a small job, okay? And like, it's still going to be able to make a difference. And I like that, you mentioned the fact that, we're going through hell right now. And I believe so too. Like, even how they make gold, how, they have to add pressures, it's like, how else do you expect change? We cannot just keep sitting around and accepting, what's going on. At the end of the day, then they have to start putting pressure. They have to start putting pressure if they expect change. And I honestly something is going to happen. I really do have hope. Like 2020 is a messy year, but it's a messy year because like good shit is gonna happen at the end of the day. Like
Nigga, you don't.
what? What? What?
You, it's diamonds which under pressure are made.
It's gold. It's gold. It's gold. Oh yeah. Cause gold you put them in those casos thingies. What are they?
That's gold plating,
You got
I
the
think.
point. Did you not get the point? Did you get the point or not? Thank you. Thank you. But yeah,
That was the one thing I noticed, yeah? Like, a friend of mine told me we might be going through a generational shift. Yeah, where our generation is now becoming like the one in focus. And what I noticed is, as much as we can change things, our generation, our parents' generations, and the boomers, yeah, they need to make it easier for us to change things, yeah. Because if they're just gonna stay there and be like, oh, okay, well, we did our part, we did as much as we could, and now we're passing it on to you guys, then it just makes it more draining to like actually do the change. I mean, enact the change that we wanna put. I don't know if that makes sense, especially in Africa here. Like they leave government systems and all these failed projects and everything, social projects, education, all this to us, but they never really tried to make it easier for the next generation of like passing over. Yeah.
that's true. You know that quote that's like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I think because even from their parents have always had like that mentality. I've grown up, I've had my kids, And they're just going to do their own thing. I've already done enough. That's the mentality that they have. And it's very hard as like, as they keep growing older, as they near death. It's very hard to change their mind. It's very, very hard to change their mind. That's why I feel like you need to start with our generation and people who are like, 30 and below. I think those are the people that will actually listen, to what we have to say. That's quote unquote us open-minded, youth or whatever. I think that's when they'll be able to actually understand what we have to say. Because right now you can't go to your grandparents. You can't go to your grandparents and tell them, this and this, because their mentality as they grew up, it was very, very different from yours. And it's like it's very, very hard to change that. It's like if you approached him when he was younger and told him all of this, I think, his mind would have been changed. But right now, considering how he grew up, like it's very hard to change his mind right now. So I guess you have a point, but also you have to look at the other side. It's like you can't really change their minds. You can't go ahead and tell them like, we need this right now. You need this, when in the past no one ever told them that, like you have to change your ways. So right now I think we need to focus on our generation, keep trying, to spread the word, keep trying to open as many people's minds as you can, especially the youth, and try at least to break the cycle. Because right now you cannot start with the person that's leading the cycle. You have to start with, people at the back. That is us. So do you agree with me, sir? Or do you have something to say? Yeah. I remember I even used to have like these conversations with my friends. They were talking about do you actually think Africa would end up developing, or do you think like it's going to be the same? And I honestly feel like there are going to be some changes, considering how like more people are getting access to the internet, more people are becoming open-minded and whatnot, more people are leaning towards coming back to Africa and helping out their society as a whole. I think there will be a big change. Obviously, when like our parents and like our grandparents and great grandparents are eradicated, then that's when I feel like there will be actual change. Yeah.
It's crazy because they set us back, the white man set us back 400 years, yeah, to play their game. So they stripped us of our game because if you look at development, it's subjective because we had our own, at least not all parts of Africa, but some major kingdoms like in Ethiopia, modern day Ethiopia, um, modern day Mali, those empires were thriving. So they stripped us of that. 400 years later, we're coming back and about to catch up at their own game. Just think about that. Because in 30 years, we're gonna have 4 billion people. We're gonna have maintained the youngest continent on Earth. I think our mean age is 19, something 18, something like that. And then the Europe's mean age is like 35. Those guys are old ass motherfuckers. Man. But yeah, it's just crazy to think that 400 years back and we're still gonna catch up.
Man, I'm telling you, if it wasn't for colonialism, we'd be badass. We'd be badass. But I don't think it would be like Wakanda type shit, obviously. But I feel like we would be up there. We would be up there.
I feel at one point, because trade was still happening before colonialism, so we're still learning from each other. So we wouldn't have built mud kingdoms, but we would have incorporated ideas from each other.
Yes. I agree. Yeah.
They come and make decisions without us like that, but no, we would have shared.
But sometimes I ask myself, why did we think the white man was so superior? I really do ask myself this question. These niggas are so tasteless. They're so and I remember reading a book And then it was basically saying like colonialism basically happened because there used to be trade even in between different African tribes, like because there used to be like wars in between these tribes, especially in Nigeria. There used to be like a lot of wars. So basically, whoever lost, they would take the losers and then sell them to the white man, right? So that's basically what people are saying is that's how colonialism started. But like, I don't know, like, what do you think?
I think that's fair. We have to go back to the hundreds when this group of African badasses called the Moors. I'm sorry if I butchered that name, but it's Moor. Yeah, those guys were considered superior Africans. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm only using this word once because those guys were ahead. Plus 1100s, they went to Europe to teach them algebra, geometry, trigonometry, how to use alcohol as a soap because Europeans never used to shower. They taught them. They taught them like dressing and all that stuff. So the Moors educated the Europeans. 500 years later, they come to Africa and they're like, oh, okay. So when they reach here, they see barbarians who are like the other parts of Africa, which weren't the same as Moors, like especially in the Cape side and then that, that edge where West Africa is, yeah, which they called the Gold Coast. So they come and they're like, but not all Africans are the same as the ones which civilized us, yeah? So they have a chance to do the same thing that was done to them. And we begin trading, and then they give special benefits. Like all over history, you see the start of major like conflicts, yeah, is when they start giving African people benefits. The Rwandan genocide, when the Belgian niggas gave people benefits. In West Africa, when they came and they gave the chiefs benefits, so that they grow their wealth. Then that's when the chiefs, the chief,
It's okay.
and
Go drink some water and come back.
the chiefs kind of, like you read in history, the people who are given benefits than their own people. So now all the people at the bottom are now despising them. So now it's a competition to trade with the white man, yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
then right, and tell their kings that Africans are fighting against each other. They're barbarians. They're savages.
Mm-hmm.
Let's civilize them. They go and meet 1800s. That's also the time when all of them were broke. They were on the verge of wars. Like all those. That's happening in Europe. So okay, if we want to survive as a race, we need to go and steal some minerals. So come divide Africa according to international law. It was free man's land, no man's land. So they come and they split us, and then they use those minerals to drive the economies. But then they're making secret pacts. So I read this story about if you listen to this song by Brenna. Let me find it.
I think I might know what you're talking about. The one where they like speak at the beginning, yeah?
Hmm. Yeah, that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot the
So
name of
like
it.
crazy because I was listening to it. Wait, let me find the song. And they basically talk about how white man came into Nigeria and claimed it. So
I
yeah,
think I know what song you're talking about.
I told another story with Manifest.
Yes, that one. Yes.
They
I
come.
remember I was listening to this song actually because of the Burna Boy concert. I was trying to get all the lyrics in my head. So I even remember replaying this song just in case Burna sings it and I can sing along. So
Oh, crazy because it's no more. And then all of a sudden, the Brits form a company. See the Royal Niger Company, whatever.
mhm.
Yeah, and they're basically trading oil and palm oil because they needed that to drive their whatever they were building in preparations for World War. Yeah,
Mhm.
they start to trade with different tribes, and then it's a kind of competition between who gets wealthier and who trades with the white man. And then they go back and they make a pact in England. They bring it to all the chiefs. They can't read English. They're just like, oh, okay, sign.
Mm.
Right? And then they go back and they come back again. And now it's like they kind of lock out other tribes. So the tribes are saying, like, why are you only trading the white man? But in the contract, they've already said that now we're gonna be slowly taking over control. They didn't obviously the chief couldn't read English. So the fine print basically said that we control how much we wanna take and you guys argue amongst yourselves. And slowly that company is now today Unilever
Yeah.
provides and y'all put on your breads this morning. But like yeah, that's how colonization basically started. It starts as trade, deception. So they use their English and their class and their royalty to come and deceive the chiefs. The chiefs are like turn against their people, and then slowly by slowly that inner conflict, the intra conflict between African civilizations just lets us be susceptible to now those guys coming with all their might, and then they claim that this is a Royal Niger company, and under this contract it says we own you guys, so now you're a colony. And they unite and they say, Nigeria, British property, done. And the chiefs can't do anything. But we could because it's guns versus spears. Like, it's crazy.
That was a really messy time, to be honest. But like, you know, honestly, I'm not a person who believes that like everything happens for a reason. But like where we are today, we know how the white man works. If it wasn't for colonialism, I don't think we would actually understand how the white man works. And at the end of the day, going back to our topic, if Pan-Africanism was actually, you know, to like if it was to work and you know and we would all become like one nation, I don't think we would ever side with the white man again. Literally. Literally. I don't think we would be able to do that unless it's just trading, then probably that. But like doing anything else, I don't think so.
But that means we'd have to let go of clothing, all the you never have to see your Nike bottle ever again, your iPhone.
Anyway, we cannot make them here. We can't make them here.
But then look at the countries that make things like you've heard of Rwanda making their first phone and car, yeah?
No, I haven't heard about that.
But basically Rwanda, I think is it 80% of their budget is aid. So as much as we're trying to make things here, Ethiopia 90% of the budget is aid, and they're the leading economy in East Africa. So we still have that dependency mindset.
It's gonna be a sticky one, honestly, trying to loosen ourselves from the chains of the white man. But I personally have hope. One day, tutafika tu. Tutafika. Inshallah, tutafika.
For the people who are watching, if you really want to understand Pan-Africanism, you can listen. Hey, why am I forgetting my music?
Kaka, what's happening today?
If you know the album Afrowave, if y'all have listened to the album Afrowave when it came out, yeah.
Afrowave by.
Ngoja. Let me. Yeah, Afrowave 3 by Afrobeat, yeah. The songs Roots Part 1 and Roots Part 2. Just listen to that lady talk. Like her spoken word at the start of the songs is too powerful.
Is it on Apple Music?
Pan-Africanism.
Is it on Apple Music?
Mr. J, bro, me, I'm a pirate.
No, okay, fine. What's it called?
Afrowave 3 by Afrobeat.
Yes, sir. I got it.
Listen.
Here, I'm gonna add it. I don't know if you can see. Yeah. Okay, But yeah, I think that's all. I mean, unless you wanna add in anything else.
Follow my TikTok. Yo, you guys, add me up on TikTok, yeah?
Please don't
Andre.lpx.
listen to him. First of all, his TikToks are trash.
Post frequently.
Yeah, Andre dot LPX.
LPX.
Okay, guys, you heard that. Follow me on Instagram, but if I don't know you, I'm probably not going to accept. But follow my Twitter. It's Sushii Fairy, SUSHII Fairy. So yeah, it was nice having you as a guest. Thank you so much, our fellow intellectual that can barely pronounce English words. It's okay, because we're trying to we're trying to say fuck the white man. So, but yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.